All right, welcome to video 2 in my 3-video series on making effective presentations. This video will show you how to use transitions and animations to make your presentations look their best. The other 2 videos focus on the basic physical appearance of your presentation and on the content that you put into your presentation. So you can check those out if you want. I made this very basic presentation using Google Slides, but the same rules apply to like PowerPoint or Keynote or Explain Everything or other presentation platforms. So let's jump right into the first rule, and that is to be consistent. If you watched my first video on basic appearance, you'll remember that I suggested that you make all of your slides the same color. The same sort of rule applies for transitions. If you want to use a transition between slides, or if you want to use an animation to make your presentation just a little more interesting and lively, that's great and you should do it. But just remember that you should use the same transition or animation on every slide or bullet point. If you switch it around and just use a whole mix of transitions and animations, it looks kind of unprofessional and it can be distracting for your audience. They're going to be paying attention to your animations and not to the important information that you're trying to share. So don't use different animations and transitions for every point or slide. On this slide, I used every type of text animation available. And so obviously this was an example of how not to do it. So now we're going to look at an example of the right way to use transitions. I made this sample slide and it's about the motivations of the men who explored North and South America. And I made it just to demonstrate how you can use animations to actually make your presentation better, not just for fun. You can do this when you're going to be going over a lot of information. It keeps everyone from looking ahead so that everybody is focusing on one thing at a time. Watch while I present it like I would to a group of students, and then pay attention to the transitions between the 3 motivations. So this is my teacher voice now. Now we're going to be looking at why the explorers wanted to come to the Americas. After all, it was dangerous and difficult. Why would these people want to come here? There are 3 reasons. First, God. The men who came were Christians, and they wanted to convert or change all of the native people already living in the Americas to Christianity. Second, gold. They wanted to get rich. Some were looking for actual literal gold in the New World, and others wanted to get rich in other ways. Finally, glory. They wanted fame. Maybe they wanted to be famous themselves, or they wanted to bring more respect and power to their country, and a lot of times they wanted both. So you can see in this slide how I use the transitions, and I use the same one every time. They flew in from the left, and they helped keep us focused on what I was explaining. Our next rule actually doesn't require a lot of explanation, but you just need to remember to watch the speed of your transitions and your animations. If you make them too slow, you and your audience will just be sitting there awkwardly waiting for the words to arrive. Having them move too fast or too quickly isn't as big of a problem, but if you're using some kind of wacky spinny animation, which I usually try to avoid because they drive me a little crazy, but if you choose one of those, using them too quickly can be a little intense and you don't want to make anybody throw up. So in this next slide, I set the text to enter as slowly as possible. And there we go. It gets there eventually, but we had to wait a few seconds and it was a little awkward. It's just not a very effective way of having something come in. You end up with a lot of dead time and some awkward silences. Now to wrap it up, we've really only got 2 rules as far as transitions and animations go. You need to be consistent, and you need to watch your speed. That was another example of how to do it too slowly. Thanks for your attention and have a great day.